You're listening to SM Media, the number one place for exclusive content.
Hi everyone, and welcome to a special edition of SM Media's Scottish Football Show. I am Scott McPike. It's an absolute pleasure to be your host as always. Obviously today we've heard the news that we all expected to. It was just a matter of time before it was announced that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has been announced as a new Rangers manager. He takes over from Steven Gerrard on a 3.5-year deal. Obviously we know that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is unlikely to be in charge of the team for Sunday's tie against Hibs in the Scottish League Cup, but he will probably take over in time for Thursday's Europa League clash against Sparta Prague. We wanted to dive in a bit more about Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, the manager. We all know about his time as a player at Rangers, where he played under Dick Advocaat, but we have managed to get in touch with a really good group of people in Feyenoord's podcast, Kein Geloel, who are going to talk to us a bit about Giovanni Van Bronckhorst and Feyenoord. We're delighted to be joined by, from Kein Geloel, Johan Brinkel. Johan, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you onto the show. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's been a busy day in Scotland, as you can imagine. It's big news. Obviously, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is a new Rangers manager. Obviously, we know of the Giovanni Van Bronckhorst spent a bit of time at Rangers as a player under Dick Advocaat. Is obviously the Scottish football well familiar to Dutch fans, obviously, with the Dick Advocaat era at Rangers?
Yeah, we know. We watched. There were lots of Dutch guys over there at Rangers in that period, I guess. Fernando Riksen, of course, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, Arthur Newman, Michael Mols, who also had played for Feyenoord as well. Dick Advocaat, who was our coach last year here at Feyenoord, the last 2 seasons actually. So we've been following the Rangers for quite some long time. So we know that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst had a past there. Did, I think, reasonably well, and then moved on to Arsenal afterwards, of course. So we're delighted as well for him to have another chance as a coach, because he coached our team for 4 years. Then he had a stint in China, which didn't end up that well. I think that was not a good match for both sides. And now he's at Rangers. I think that's very nice.
Brilliant. We'll obviously touch a wee bit on his time at Feyenoord, but first and foremost, obviously, we know about his time as a player. We know his versatility. He played midfielder, left back. He obviously done very well at clubs like Rangers, Barcelona and Arsenal. As a manager, what can Rangers fans expect from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, and what can they hope for in the coming months?
He's quite a conservative coach. So if the Rangers fans are hoping for attractive attacking football, I'm afraid that's not who Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is as a coach. He likes to build his team around the defense, make sure he doesn't concede goals, and then hope the wingers and the strikers score the goals. He has a 4-3-3 playing system. He always likes to play that system. At his tenure here at Feyenoord, he coached our team for 4 years, like I said. I think he only tried a different system only once against Manchester City in the Champions League. Didn't end up that well. We lost 4-0 at home. So they quickly decided that was not the way to go for him. But besides that, he always played with the 4-3-3. The two wing defenders going high as basically extra offensive players. So that's what you can expect. A lot of passing in the back. He got some good results. We'll talk about that later, I guess, how he did here at Feyenoord. But especially in the last couple of 2 seasons, the defenders played the ball to each other all the time. So it was from the right wing defender to the central defender to the other central defender, and then to the left wing back, and then the other way around. So here in Holland we call that the hoefijzer, which is called the horseshoe, because it went back and forth and back and forth, and there was no balls up front. So that's what we always make a little bit fun of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst when we talk about him. But besides that, he's a really nice guy. He's a really nice lad, and well, we hope he does well and he performs good at Rangers.
We'll touch a bit on his time at Feyenoord when he took over as manager. He obviously he's retired at Feyenoord when he was a player and went straight into coaching. I think he took control of the kind of youth team for a while before getting into an assistant manager role. It was first under Ronald Koeman, then under Fred Rutten. What was his kind of development like as a coach before he went into the head coach position?
Well, yeah, the funny thing is, like you said, when he retired, he became the coach of the youth teams. He did that for 2 or 3 seasons. I'm not sure about that. And then he became assistant coach next to Ronald Koeman. Okay. And he was there for like 2 or 3 seasons, I guess. Then Ronald Koeman left. And everybody expected Jean-Paul van Gastel, who basically had the same route, ended up as a player at Feyenoord, and then became youth coach and is a little bit older, had more coaching experience, coaching the youth ranks. So everybody expected when Koeman left that Jean-Paul van Gastel was going to be the next head coach. But then the board decided to go the other way, and they decided Giovanni Van Bronckhorst to make him the manager. Jean-Paul van Gastel was fine with that, and he decided to be the assistant next to Gio. So it was a bit of a surprise. Everybody was not sure what we were going to expect because he had no experience as a coach at the highest level, of course. His first season, the first half of the season was really good. We played in the highest positions. We were thinking about becoming champions again. But then after the winter break, we collapsed tremendously. It was like the worst streak ever. We lost 7 games in a row, which was a record for Feyenoord. Feyenoord never lost 7 games in a row. And the funny thing is, the board then decided, okay, maybe we should help out Giovanni Van Bronckhorst a little bit. So they brought in Dick Advocaat to just coach Giovanni Van Bronckhorst a little bit. He was only there for 1 or 2 months. And then they said, okay, he's got enough experience again, and he's got the team back on track, which he did. Because the end of the first season, which is 2015, 2016, the last couple of weeks, we won all the games after the losing streak. And then we had the season afterwards, which was like the best season in recent Feyenoord memories. We became champion for the first time in 18 years. From the very first day till the very last day, we were on top of the table. And he deserves all the credits for that. He was the first, like I said, first title in 18 years. So he brought back the championship back to Rotterdam. So we love him for that.
And see that season, he won the title. Obviously, like you had players there like Nikolai Jorgensen, Dirk Kuyt, Jens Toornstra, who were obviously attacking players. But just how big an achievement was that to win the title, considering obviously Ajax were on to be as good as they were the next couple of seasons, nearly get to the final of the Champions League. How much an achievement was that to win the Eredivisie that season?
It was a tremendous achievement what he did. If you look at the team, and especially if you compare it to Ajax and also PSV, I think they had better squads. Like you said, Ajax reached pretty far in Europe that season. They got a good team. And if you look at the team at Feyenoord, we were talented. We had some nice young guys who didn't achieve that much. We brought in that summer only 3 guys. We brought in a goalie basically because our first 2 goalies were injured, so we had to bring a goalie. We brought a striker in, Nikolai Jorgensen, like you said, and we got in Steven Berghuis. There was only 3 acquisition that season, and the season before that, in 2016, we ended up like 18 points behind Ajax or something. So there was nobody really expected to be the champion. But what happened in that season was tremendous. I think everybody outperformed all the players. If you look at them individually, everybody had the best season of their career in that particular year. We did so well. We did so excellent. Which also the years afterwards, everybody expected, maybe we can just keep on increasing and keep on getting better, which didn't happen because our central defenders, for example, were like 30-year-old guys. They had the best career of the season. We renewed their contracts, and you saw afterwards that they basically got worse, and the magic wasn't there anymore. And then, like I said, the last 2 seasons weren't that good anymore. But the one season stood out was tremendously, and we also won in the tenure of Giovanni. We won 2 cups as well. So, looking from a winning perspective, he's our most successful coaches. 1 title, 2 cups, and also 2 super cups. So, well, like I said, we're really happy to have him had him as a coach.
Brilliant. Obviously, as well, Rangers fans are eager to know just what can they expect from a Giovanni Van Bronckhorst team. And we've heard a couple of people saying he relies very heavily on attacking fullbacks. And obviously at Feyenoord they had the likes of Kein Geloel, Karsdorp that was there as well. You'd Volhena that was in the midfield. It relies a lot on attacking fullbacks and a kind of deep line playmaker, and then kind of 2 box-to-box midfielders. Would that be accurate as how he kind of sets up his team?
Basically, the way we played with Feyenoord was the two central defenders, Erik Botteguin and Jan-Arie van der Heijden, pretty much played every game. And then they had a block of two central defenders up front in front of that, Tony Villena and Karim El Amadi.
Yeah.
Those four players were pretty much the biggest defensive. They had the biggest defensive contributions. Karsdorp and Gongola, like you said, they liked attacking. They liked going up front. But that's basically what you can expect of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. So two central defenders, two central midfielders who think defensively first and then offensively. Because Villena and El Amadi normally don't score that many goals, except for the one season. Like I said, they kept on scoring goals. But if you look at their general statistics, they didn't perform that well in other seasons. That many goals.
And then obviously the Van Bronckhorst he's obviously played under Dick Advocaat at Rangers and obviously in the Dutch team. As a similar characteristics, would you say kind of Van Bronckhorst was a prodigy Advocaat in the terms of coaching?
Well, if you look at Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, he played, of course, at Arsenal for Arsene Wenger. He played at Barcelona under some good coaches. So I'm not sure. I don't think Dick Advocaat deserves all the credit to say he's like a coach like Dick Advocaat. I see some resemblance, but I think he learned from all his coaches in his long career. Also, Louis van Gaal, of course, the Dutch national team. I think he learned something from that. But what stands out? He's such a gentleman. Dick Advocaat can be a little bit pissed off when he loses, and he can be a little bit tacky. But if you look at Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, he's always a gentleman. He always is polite. He's never in his 4 year at Feyenoord. There was never an incident which we thought, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, behave, don't be stupid. So he's a very nice guy, and that's why everybody here in Holland, even supporters of the other teams like Ajax and PSV, we like him having this chance. We really hope he succeeds. We really hope he performs, because everybody here in Holland seems to like Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
Yeah, definitely. And what's his record like in terms of kind of signing players? Is he good in the transfer market, and is he more kind of focused on bringing kind of youth players through?
I don't think we should look too heavily on his performance on the transfer market, because we had a technical director who bought in the players and who sold the players. Of course, he had a say in that, but I can't say that he had the final say in that.
Yeah.
He likes bringing in young players. At like the 4 years over here, he brought in some young guys, like we mentioned already, Congolo, Karsdorp, Villena. Those were all sold for like 10 million or more.
Yeah.
So he does like to look at the youth, but I think he likes to have a balanced squad. So the most important thing is just quality. If somebody's good enough, he's old enough, and he will play. But don't look too badly on his transfer records, because I think the technical director which we had made a mess of it after the good season, we sold a couple of guys as well. Of course, the guy retired, but the guys we brought in weren't that good. So we shouldn't look too heavily on that.
And obviously, as well, what's the kind of process when it comes to Jan-Paul van Vastel? He looks to be joining Van Bronckhorst as his assistant. Roy Mackay is obviously close to joining as well. We'll start with Van Gastel. What's his coaching pedigree like?
Basically, he's only been assistant coach for basically his whole career, except for the last one season. We went with Van Bronckhorst to China, to Guangzhou. Then Van Bronckhorst decided to leave after one season, and Van Gastel decided, okay, I'm going to stay here, and he was appointed as a head coach. But besides that, he has only coached at the youth ranks at Feyenoord, and he has been assistant under Ronald Koeman, Rutte, and also under Jaap Stam, and of course Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. They have a really good connection. You can see the atmosphere that they really liked each other. It's the same with Roy Mackay. I also expected Jan Wouters to join him. He's also a good friend. He also was an assistant coach at Feyenoord for some time. Of course, also has a history at Rangers. But I don't know, maybe just some reason that Wouters is not joining. But Mackay, he has only been an assistant coach here at Feyenoord as well. After Giovanni Van Bronckhorst left, he was still here for some time. But then when Jaap Stam got fired, basically the whole coaching staff was fired. So Paul van Gastel and Roy Makaar were fired. Even though everybody here in Rotterdam likes them, they have a good track record. If you of course Van Gastel was a coach for a long time at the youth, and every time you talk to youth players or former youth players, they say Van Gastel is a really nice guy, sees the game, and he was basically brought in to be a bridge between the youth academy and the first team. So he was looking at the youth products and said, okay, maybe we should try this guy, or we should just try that guy. So I think it's a balanced squad, or balanced coaching staff, but we'll see. We have to see.
Brilliant. As well as that, just a final wee point. What can Rangers fans look forward to? If you were to give the Rangers fans a good wee thing to say about Van Bronckhorst, what would it be? What would be a closing statement about Giovanni Van Bronckhorst?
I hope you don't expect too much of him. I read some Dutch articles. I'm not sure if they're translated correctly and if they're interpreted properly. But they said that the fans are expecting an even better version of Steven Gerrard. I'm not sure if that's fair to say. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, like I said, is not a tactical mastermind. He's a good coach. Like I said, he's a good, nice lad, and he has a nice track record. But I think we should look at it realistic. He's just a good coach, and I hope he does as good as Steven Gerrard, which I think is also going to be a legend at Rangers, because he made you guys champion last season, and I think you're still on top of the league. So I hope he just keeps on doing the same thing as Gerrard did, and then hopefully for you guys become champions again.
Johan, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No problem whatsoever. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.